We've got a fun podcast lined up for you today. We will be joined by a special guest, Derrick Favors. We caught up with Big Fave after practice at the Thunder Ion today just to chat with him a little bit. And also, me and Gallo, we are reacting to the Thunder's past 3 wins, including the win over the Pelicans in New Orleans. We got a lot to talk about, so let's get right to it. Welcome into the Thunder Basketball Universe presented by COOP Ale Works. We are recording this on Thursday, November 11th, Veterans Day. Nick Gallo.
Yeah, thank you all so much to all of the veterans for your sacrifice, for your service. I know many of us have family members, ancestors who served this great country, and so always just want to take this time and day to be very respectful to and for the people that have served this country.
Yes, thank you so much. The Thunder is coming off of their 3rd consecutive victory. This victory now, this was in New Orleans against the Pelicans. It was a quick road trip out to the Big Easy, but a little bit of a different victory than their previous 3 wins
right.
Because they weren't coming from behind to overcome a deficit. They were trying to hold on to the lead, and that they did.
Yes, barely. But, you
Barely.
know, a 21-point lead was cut down to 5 over the course of the second half and really the fourth quarter after the Thunder broke this game open. But the Thunder, this is a young team. They're going to have to learn these types of lessons. They've learned how to stay in a 48-minute game. They have learned that these 48-minute games can cause them to lose a lead if they don't hold on to it tight enough. I think of that Clippers game. This was an opportunity to bounce back from that experience against the Clippers and hold on to this one. They came away with the win against the Pelicans. Just got enough stops down the stretch. Came up with a few big rebounds. The one that really stood out to me was the Josh Giddey one where he secured it, dished it to Dort for a dunk with 16 seconds left. Just really kind of put the nail in the coffin on that one. And as Lou said after the game, like, we had to let him know it was over.
Yes, and there were a lot of lessons that the Thunder could take away from that final few minutes of the game where New Orleans really tried to claw back and take the win. Also, throughout the game, they were going up against a physical presence in the paint and Jonas Valanciunas. You mentioned the Josh Giddey rebound at the end of the game. I'm thinking of the Josh Giddey rebound where he was literally just wrangling the ball away from Jonas Valanciunas off the glass. There were a lot of really solid plays and stat lines from this game. So, Gallo, I think we should get into You Can Say That Again.
Let's do it.
All right, go ahead.
Well, just right on cue. This is a nice little bit of Australian Aussie dialect from our guy Josh Giddey, the rookie. He said, I try to read it off the ring. And, you know, he's saying he's trying to read the ball coming off the rim.
It took me a second to realize what he was saying.
Yeah, you know, and so that way that helps him, you know, understand who to box out, where to run to try to get the rebound. He had a career-high 12 last night against New Orleans. And I'm fascinated by this term ring. I'm really hoping that there's some sort of like intercontinental game of telephone when the game of basketball was brought to Australia, and that, you know, rim somehow turned into ring and it is shaped like a ring. So anyway, I loved that when Josh kind of threw that out there last night.
You know, there's a couple of words, key phrases here and there that Josh says, and you're like, wait, what was that?
Yeah.
Okay. It takes you a second to digest what he's saying.
He said Mark has told them something a fair few.
Yes.
Meaning like a fair few number of times, and I love it. It's so fun when the Thunder like welcomes these people in from all over the world, and they have different ways of saying things and unique little turns of phrase.
You think like he says training sometimes instead of practice, and it takes you a little second to realize what he's talking about. But when it comes to rebounding, I mean, Josh is a big guard. He has this ability to be effective on the glass and just show a lot of versatility around the rim. 12 rebounds, also 9 assists for Josh in this game. And for him and Shai, this wasn't necessarily what Coach Dagnall referred to as their fast pitch in terms of their offense, right? Josh had 7 points, and then Shai, he had 24, but they were hard-earned 24 points. They were not coming easy for him. And so for them to still find ways to be effective and contribute in big ways, meaningful ways in this game says a lot about them, and particularly Josh, a rookie who's trying to find ways to, stay involved in the game without the shot falling.
Right. When your top two playmakers go a combined 10 of 29 shooting, that's usually a recipe for a loss. And the fact of the matter was the Thunder hung in there by doing the little things like Josh has been doing and did at such a high level last night, rebounding, making assists, creating and playmaking for other people. And that's just a great sign for a rookie at this young of an age to recognize when they don't have it in the scoring column that, I can still impact the game in a myriad of other ways. And that's exactly what he did.
It goes back to kind of the anchors that every player has to their game. And regardless, you cannot control whether or not your shot is falling. And you can't control a lot of the different offensive aspects of the game. You can always control your energy. You can always control your effort. And you can always control the decisions that you make on the offensive end. So maybe if my shot's not falling, I can still attract a lot of attention if I attack downhill and I could spray it out to one of my teammates who does have it going. And that also goes into the lack of ego that these two have to know that, okay, if mine's not falling, Lou's got it going clearly. Right. So let's get it out to him and let's try to feed him for more buckets.
That's right. Okay, Paris, what's your quote?
Okay, so mine is a segment of a much larger quote, but it's great. It's awesome. All right, so let me get to it here. Sorry. Okay. We got a lot of tabs open on this computer. Okay. It's fun. It's a grind. It's what you go through. And what we all work our whole life to do is play basketball at this level to try to get better every day. And I'm just happy to be a part of it. That was Shai Gilgeous-Alexander after the game talking about, the whole quote was about the improvement of the team and how they're getting better every day. They're getting more comfortable playing with one another. But I just thought that little section spoke to Shai's perspective.
Yeah.
We talk about his maturity at his age, and every single person you ask about Shai mentions his maturity. And I think this quote, it really says that.
Yeah, Shai clearly has a great recognition of the dynamics of team. And so he's a guy that's understanding the type of work that it takes to put in. We listened to Mark Dagnall talk about how the thing that Shai loves second best to playing basketball is preparing to play basketball.
Right.
And this is just another example of why the Thunder felt so confident in investing in Shai long term, not just because of what he produces on the floor, but what he produces within the team, within the unit, within the locker room, off of the floor.
And I don't want to gloss over the fact that what he's saying is true. This team is getting more and more comfortable playing together. It's clear, especially over these last few games, you're starting to see how this group starts to work through problems with 5 on the floor.
Right.
Everybody on the floor. Every single game that this group has played, barring this last Pelicans game, just because the offense was kind of hard to come by at points. But against the Spurs, 5 players in double figures, and against the Lakers, 6 players in double figures. Every single time that this group needs to get things going and get the offense rolling, they do it as a cohesive unit, and they found really good ways to come together and show that they're comfortable playing on the floor together.
Well, you look at the defense, too, and that's really where the 5-man unit shows up most frequently because you can do it possession after possession. Sometimes on offense, shots don't fall, and that masks how well you're playing on offense. But to hold New Orleans to 35% shooting from the field, below 30% from 3, and then to out-rebound that team who came into the game, I believe, in the top 5 in offensive rebounding percentage and defensive rebounding percentage, that's really impressive to do. And, of course, Jonas Valanciunas, he got his. But the key for the Thunder was to make sure that that wasn't, just something that swept across the entire game. And that everybody on the floor for the Pelicans were snapping up those loose balls. So a really great sign that was a connected group, that they were gang rebounding. That's something that we talked about on the Bally Sports Oklahoma broadcast from the very outset as being critical. And it's really great. I mean, for such a young team, for them to be able to recognize these moments and these aspects of the game that are going to be required from a night-to-night basis and then go out and execute is really great.
It absolutely is. Okay, let's roll into Name That Dude. This is actually going to be a fun one because these are identical stat lines.
Exactly the same stat lines. So,
but different players.
Different players. Mine is 10 points, 4 for 5 shooting from the field, 2 for 3 from the three-point line. And that was Shai's third quarter.
Yes.
And, he had struggled really all first half to get it going. He had 7 points and, had not shot the ball well at all through the first half, had a number of turnovers. And yet come third quarter, this has been Shai's time to shine all year long. We talked about it in the pregame show that over the previous 3 games, he was averaging over 10 points per third quarter. For the season, he's averaging 9 points per third quarter. That put him 5th in the NBA, up near guys that are elite scorers, guys that are putting up that many in pretty much every quarter. And so for Shai to kind of have him put himself into that category of a guy that coming out of a locker room is going to provide you that punch, and then to have him show it on a night where he didn't have it was really awesome to see.
In that entire first half, anytime Shai had the ball and tried to attack, all 5 Pelicans players were collapsing and just trying to get him to throw the ball away, throw the ball out to one of his teammates, just basically get the ball out of his hands. That was clear. So going into halftime, he now has that first half of information. This is how they're guarding me. This is how they're going to play me when I try to do this or try to attack off a ball screen. Now he comes out in this third quarter and he does third quarter Shai things, right? He is crafty. He has a lot of tools in his toolkit, and he really found ways to continue putting the ball through the hoop. Now, they were still hard-earned buckets.
That's right.
Every single one, it was a high level of difficulty, but that's why he is Shai, right? That's why he can do these things. And also notable here that he played all 12 minutes of that third quarter and Coach Dagnall said this after the game, that first unit, he left them all in there for the full quarter, and they just had it going. And it speaks to Shai to get the ball rolling offensively with what he was able to do.
And it just goes to show sometimes all these elite scorers need is one bounce to go their way.
Yeah.
Shai goes right to the baseline, takes one of his sidestep 3-pointers, and it hits the rim and it goes straight up.
Yep.
And somehow drops straight down into the hoop. And that was the catalyst that got his quarter going. And in that quarter, this stretch that Shai had, he hit a couple threes. He beat the buzzer with a little push shot that was really great. And it was part of a 14-1 run by the Thunder that really broke the game open and provided the cushion that OKC needed in order to be able to hang in there in the fourth quarter and not let that lead completely unravel. So great for the Thunder to have followed up a 15-0 run in the second quarter with another 14-1 run in the third, primarily led by Shai and this little scoring outburst that we highlighted.
Yeah, I do want to mention this because I don't think we'll get to them, but the second unit in that fourth quarter, they came in off the bench, and in the first half, they didn't really have it going, and at halftime, Coach Dagnall challenged them. He said, I'm challenging you to put the foot on the gas and energize yourself, get yourself going. In that fourth quarter, that second unit stepped up big time and helped push the Thunder's lead to 21 points. That's when that lead got to that point, and it was in the fourth quarter, right before that first timeout, that lead extended to the largest of the game, and it was the second unit who came in and really cracked things open for them.
Right, and so in that third quarter, it wasn't just Shai scoring. There were 5 other guys that scored, and Shai had 3 assists in the period. Right. And that's another great sign of Shai's recognition of, hey, I need to start getting some of these other guys involved in addition to like calling my own number on offense because, as you mentioned, Mark challenged these guys. Well, most of those players in the second unit aren't necessarily going to create a ton of shots on their own. Right. And so Shai's recognition of, hey, I got to help these guys find some shots. A guy like Mike Muscala, who drained a big 3 in that period. Alexei Pokusevski hit a big 3 in that period as well. So just continued great understanding of time, score, situation, and team.
One more thing.
Yeah.
How about Tre Mann in the minutes that he got in this game?
Nasty.
He came in. This is his first game back after his short stint with the OKC Blue. Came back, same confidence, same just craftiness. He was knocking things down from the field, but also, how about his finishes at the rim? Yeah. Very strong, very crafty. It was so cool to see him out there on the floor with the Thunder.
Yeah, amazing to just watch the Thunder execute on something that they wish that they could have last year.
Yeah.
They did it with Ty Jerome and Alexei Pokusevski and Moses Brown, but to do this in season where they could send guys to the Blue for a couple games and then bring them back to the Thunder and then ping pong back and forth, that was not an option last year. And with such a young roster, we should expect to see things like this moving forward. In Tre Mann's first game with the Blue, he had, I believe, 11 points and 8 assists. We have not seen as much of that playmaking in the assist game from Tre at the NBA level yet, but he was assertive, and he was honing in on the things that the Thunder wanted from him at the Blue, and that's what earned him the minutes when he came back up to the Thunder.
And it paid off clearly for the time that he was on the floor with the Thunder.
All right, give us some deja vu, Paris.
All right, how about this stat line? 10 points, 4 for 5 from the field, 2 for 3 from the 3-point line. Sound familiar?
Yeah, very familiar. Tell us about where you came up with this stat line.
So this stat line was earlier in the game, and this belonged to Lou Dort, the Thunder's leading scorer in this contest. He came out of the gates, and really, it wasn't just the first quarter for Lou. Mm-hmm. It was really all 4 quarters. He was finding ways to contribute to this effort, and the offense was what stood out about him. Obviously, he's the Thunder's defensive ace. He's going to be on the team's best player. He's known for his defense, but when we see him explode offensively like this, Coach Dagnall said, I'm happy for him, but I'm not surprised, though.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised.
They knew that this breakthrough was going to come. Lou has been so diligent about driving hard to the rim. He's been attacking. He's been getting down low. He has not been finishing extremely efficiently once he's gotten down there. He's had some dunks. He's had more dunks this season already than he had all of last year. But on some of those layup finishes, they just weren't quite going down. Last night, he was finishing those. He was a little bit more patient, actually. There were a couple times where one in particular that I remember where Devontae Graham jumped over him on a kind of flex cut down underneath the rim by Lou.
Shot fake under the rim.
Yeah, and to be able to have that patience down there, I think was a really valuable moment for Lou, because a lot of times at his size, he's actually the shortest guy on the team. When he's attacking the rim like that, and there's big bodies in front of him and there's limbs trying to block his shot, it can be a little bit of a crutch to try to just rush that shot up there. And so continuing to see him make strides in that front, and then to have himself rewarded with such an efficient night was huge.
27 points. That's a team high, season high for Lou. Another season high, 9 free throws.
Yeah. And so, again, the efficiency, 8 of 13 shooting from the field, the 9 of 10 free throw shooting, that's going to make him, when he has games like this, where he can pop off, that is really confusing to the opposing team in the opposing defense, because as Mark Dagnall said last night, the key for Lou that we need to keep cultivating is for him to be a confident, competent threat on offense.
Yep.
We know what we're going to get from him on the defensive end, and as long as the other team doesn't think that they're out there defending 4 guys, and if they truly have to worry about Lou on every single possession, that is a big time headache.
And you want to talk about competence on the offensive end. What stuck out to me about Lou's game wasn't the shots that he created for himself. It was the shots where he was moving without the ball and his teammates were finding him.
Right.
That's how the Thunder wants to play, right? They want to move, they want to attack the paint, and they want to kick the ball out and keep the ball moving, keep the blender going. And Lou found those gaps. He found those alleyways. That play that you were talking about with Devontae Graham, that was a backdoor cut that he got hit on. And so the way that he was able to move without the ball, find the seams, find the open gaps, and then finish those plays, I think says a lot about his improvement on the offensive end.
Definitely. And just something to keep in mind moving forward. Like, I still have to remember, like, Lou is so young.
Yeah.
And there are so many of these things that he's shown flashes of to pop off for 30 in a game 7, but then, he of course was going to come back down to earth.
Right.
And so we're going to see these flare-ups like this where he has a great scoring night. And then we're going to see nights where he doesn't. And for the Thunder, it's about like minimizing the number of those down nights and just having those consistent offensive performances. It's the same thing that we talked about with Darius Bazley earlier this week.
Definitely. And Darius obviously coming off a really strong double-double performance. Darius had another really solid game against the Pelicans, just in terms of the physicality that he was able to bring. And he had some really monster plays on the offensive end and against the Pelicans as well.
14-7, like that's where Darius Bazley can live. And if he can be, right around double digits scoring and not to put numbers on, I mean, it doesn't, the exact numbers of what he's getting night to night don't necessarily matter, but he did what he did last night very efficiently and very within the flow of the team. He was not stopping the ball. He took shots when they were there. He attacked when those opportunities presented themselves, and he rebounded the ball.
And he showed a lot of hustle and aggressiveness. I remember a play where the Pelicans were out on the break. I believe it was Thomas Satoransky who had the ball out on the break, and it looked to be a wide open layup, and Darius chased that thing down and blocked it. Now, he got called for the foul, But those are the sort of fouls that the Thunder can live with, can sleep at night with, because they know that it was physical, and you're going to make him earn those points at the free throw line.
And if I remember correctly, I think Satoransky only made one of them. So
there you go.
You save a point.
Took a point off the board. All right. We are going to take a short break here, and we will be right back.
COOP Ale Works is the proud sponsor of Thunder Basketball Universe. Brewers of the fan favorites F5 IPA and 99-calorie Ice Chest IPA. You'll find those and many more COOP beers at retailers across Oklahoma. Learn more at CoopAleWorks.com.
For those of you who are joining us on YouTube, you might notice that we are not in our studio anymore, and that's because we have transitioned to the Thunder Ion, the Thunder's practice facility, and we are now joined by a very special guest, and that is veteran Derrick Favors. Big Fave, thank you so much for joining us after practice today. Really appreciate you taking the time out.
Yeah, I appreciate y'all. Thank you. Thank you.
This will be a lot of fun. So the first thing that we want to do is play a little game. It's called the Starting Five. Got 5 questions for you. Just want to get to know you a little bit better. Sound cool?
Cool.
All right, cool. Here we go. First question. Favorite food?
Favorite food is barbecue.
Okay, what kind of barbecue?
Barbecue?
That's like a wide range.
It is. So barbecue chicken.
Okay.
Throw some ribs on there. What else? Sausage.
Yeah.
Whatever. I mean, just the whole menu.
I feel like it's a very southern answer. You know, being from Georgia.
It is.
You probably know some good barbecue.
Yeah, it's a southern thing.
Okay. All right. That's a good answer. All-time favorite movie?
All-time favorite movie, Training Day.
Oh, good choice.
Yeah, appreciate
good choice. All right. Favorite comic book character?
Favorite comic book character is Batman and the Joker. Both of them.
I've got a lot of follow-up questions on that one. We'll circle back. We'll circle back.
Yeah, let's do it. That's a fun topic.
Okay, all right. So this is a scenario. Let's say you're at a family function back in Atlanta. You've got control of the aux cord. What song are you playing?
Ooh, at a family function?
Family function.
With mom and grandma and everybody there?
Yeah, all of them.
It'll have to be like some old school stuff, like some 70s.
Oh,
music.
some 70s? You going
soul
back to the
music.
70s?
Yeah, I have to with mom and grandma there. I have to.
Fair.
You know, I can't play hip hop or no crazy R&B music. I have to play something that's their vibe.
That they can dance to.
Yeah, that they can be happy. Now, when they leave, then stuff switch up. When time for them to go home, now stuff started to switch up a little bit.
Okay, so let's say you do go back to the 70s. Mm-hmm. What song? What artist? What are you thinking?
You know what? I don't know. You just go find a playlist and just play, because I don't know any of those artists, but my mom, grandma, and aunties, they love that music.
You just gotta look in the playlist, like 70s music.
Yeah, 70s music or something like that. So probably some gospel music or something for them.
Go.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay, so they leave. Now
they leave. Time for them to go to bed. If it's the younger people, probably Future.
Future.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, you can't go wrong.
Yeah, can't go wrong with Future. Probably some 90s hip hop, 90s R&B, and Future pretty much.
Okay, all right. Yeah. So is 90s kind of hip hop? That's kind of like if you were in the car by yourself, that's what you're listening to.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in that age range. I grew up listening to that music, and that's the music that I kind of gravitate to.
Yeah.
So that's just what I like.
All right, I like it. All right, last one. Which teammate would you want as your superhero sidekick? If you had to save the city from an evil villain, you're the superhero. Who's your sidekick?
Who's my sidekick?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Let me think on that one. Wow. I think Shai will be a pretty good sidekick.
Okay.
I think Shai, maybe.
It's a solid choice.
Maybe Muskie. Lou. Lou would be a good sidekick.
Hey, Lou, I feel like Lou would be
probably
a great
matter of fact, I'll probably pick Lou. I'll probably pick Lou.
He's got that
he got it.
Got some muscle to him.
Right. So probably Lou.
All right, I like it. Okay, so as promised, circling back to the comic book conversation. Okay, you said Batman.
Batman and the Joker.
The Joker.
Yeah.
Okay, so first question: how did you get into comic books in the first place?
I got into comic books when I was younger. I think I was around maybe 8, 9, 10 years old.
Okay.
And I had an uncle who he grew up reading comic books. And he I think he said when he was a kid, he bought 2 copies of the comic books, one that he reads and one that he leaves in the plastic.
Oh, just gotta keep it in mint condition.
Yeah, mint condition.
Yeah.
So one day he came over to the house and he bought me some of his old ones that he used to read because he wanted me to start reading more.
Wow.
And he knew I wasn't like reading books or anything like that. So he bought me the comic books.
Uh-huh.
And that's how I got introduced to like the comic book world.
And so ever since then, you've just
since then, yeah, because that was the only thing I did, because I didn't really have like, I had a TV in the room, but I really didn't watch TV as much. And video games, I played them sometimes, but when he brought the comic books over, that kind of grabbed my attention. And I used to just read them every day, every night, just reading the stories and just reading about the characters, and I kind of grew a love for it. And that's how I got introduced to it.
Was Batman the first comic book that you read?
It was actually a Superman, like issue 1 from like 1980, 70, 80, something like that.
Do you still have that comic book?
I have to find it.
I was about to say,
I have to find it.
That seems like one that you got to keep with you.
It's not in mint condition though, cause it was one of the ones that he read that he took out the plastic, but I still have like issues 1 through like 10, I think.
Those are the ones you keep for just like sentimental reasons.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I still have. I have like maybe 50 comic books that he gave me.
Wow. So do you have like a collection at home, like things that mint condition collection that you're working on, or is it just like I just like to read comic books?
Yeah, I read comic books, so I go get like the graphic novels.
Okay.
And I read them. Yeah. Read those sometimes, and just something that I like to do on my spare time. It's like a love that I have for myself, and it's something I like to do on my spare time.
One thing I've always been curious about for folks who love comic books. So let's say, Marvel, they come out with movies. Are you team comic book, team movie, or is it just I enjoy them all?
Team animated movie.
Okay.
Yeah, I like the animated movies.
All right.
A little bit more than the actual movies sometimes.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So give me an example.
Of an animated movie?
Yeah, like of an animated movie that you enjoy.
Well, I just recently watched, I came out with a Batman one called, what was it called? Like Halloween something. They had a part 1 and a part 2. I mean, but with those movies, they're not really going to make them like blockbuster Hollywood movies. Sure. It's easier to make them like animated movies. Yeah, so you can come out with a lot more and you can do a lot more things in them. So I kind of gravitate towards those more. I mean, they got like Justice League, Superman, Batman, X-Men, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
I just like it.
Hey,
I just watch it. That's just my thing.
It's fun. I totally understand that. So do you have there been any teammates? Do you have any teammates that are into comic books with you, or are your kids into it?
No, my kids are.
Yeah?
My kids, because they see me watch them, they see me read them, so they like to do it too.
Started getting into reading. How old are they right now?
I have twin girls. They're 6, and I have a son that's 4.
Okay.
Yeah. So they starting to get into it too.
To read.
Yeah. And it's fun.
Yeah.
I just see them try to dress up, or I can sit there and turn one on, and they know the characters. They know the which movie it is. It's kind of fun. Okay.
Now transitioning just about your family. What has it been like? You and Kenrich, I believe, are the only dads on the team.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Just what is that like for you? Being a dad, you're a vet in this league now. It's just this isn't new to you, but what's that like for you?
It's an amazing feeling.
Yeah.
Knowing that you have kids, knowing you have like a responsibility, knowing you got like 3 little kids, children that looks up to you. No matter how you play in a basketball game, no matter how everybody else view you, to them, you that hero.
Yeah.
So you have to like kind of take that responsibility and carry yourself a certain type of way and make sure that they're well taken care of. So I enjoy it.
Yeah, and twin girls, I mean, that's got to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. It's fun. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying it.
Any of them starting to lean towards basketball?
Yeah,
or
one of them, Serenity. She's more into the sports.
Okay.
More into want to play basketball.
Take after dad a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. The other one's like all girly.
Okay.
Barbie dolls and want to wear dress, makeup, all that stuff.
Yep.
And my son, he's just a boy.
Yeah.
Right.
And he's 4 right now.
Yeah, he's 4. Yeah, he'll figure it out later.
Got some time to,
exactly.
get into it a little bit. Okay, so wanted to talk to you about these past 3 games for this group. Obviously, 3 wins, 3 really good wins. And they've all kind of been different wins. This past one against the Pelicans, you guys were holding on to a lead for the majority of the game. The other 3 wins, you guys were trying to overcome big deficits.
Right.
Yeah, so my question to you is just like, how have you seen this group grow? And each game comes with a different lesson, right? So
exactly.
How have you seen this group grow in this short time that you've been with them so far?
I think just like you said, each game comes with its own lesson. We played against the Lakers. We was down 26, 30 points or whatever. We fought back, grounded out, won that game, then played them again. Was down 19, 20 points, kind of did the same thing, but and also against San Antonio. But against the Pelicans, we had the lead throughout the whole game. And the Pelicans started making a run to close the lead. And sometimes if you're not a mentally tough team, you can kind of let that slip away. But I think what impressed me the most about this team is, just the composure.
Yeah.
We saw that they was making their run and guys was kind of composed. We still made mistakes, but we kind of we limited those mistakes. And we executed on the offensive end, on the defensive end, got stops, made big plays. Everybody on the team contribute. And it's just one of those impressive things that, as they continue to grow, that's something you can learn from. Like, learning how to win and also learning how to, keep those leads in those games and not lose those leads and not lose that momentum.
Yeah, you talk about the mentality of that Pelicans game in particular. They threw a big punch, but it was an emotional game.
It was.
Especially in that first half. And you talk
yeah.
about the poise and composure. I feel like that translates into a lot of different ways, whether it's, a late game situation or trying to, keep your head while the other team is a little frazzled and upset. I mean, how rare is that in your perspective and experience for a young team like this to have that level of poise and composure?
No, that's very impressive. Like you say, it was a emotional game at the beginning. I think how many takes they had? Like 3, 4, 5 takes. Five takes. It's easy to get caught up in those situations as a young team. You can start getting emotional. You can start losing your focus and going down and throwing up bad shots or look for fouls, this and that. But I think for us, we were so composed during those situations, and we converted, hit our free throws. We continued to play as a team within the system. Guys was helping each other, communicating with each other on defense, on offense. We was sharing the ball, and even on some of the shots that we missed, there was good shots within the offense.
Right.
And that's another learning thing, a learning step for us. But just overall, I think just the composure that we had. Just the way we came out and grinded that game out, the way we played, the way the starters came in and played, the way the bench came in and provided that energy and also build up a lead for us. I think that goes a long way in the grand scheme of things with this team.
Yeah, and what you're alluding to, just the fact that the bench contributes consistently for this group. Right. And, you get a lot of different contributions from a lot of different kind of guys. And one thing that Josh Giddey said after the game, which I found interesting and just held on to, is there's no ego on this team.
I was just about to say that. There's no ego. I mean, we all know, Shai's the guy. But Shai doesn't have an ego. Throughout the game, the first 3 quarters, he's looking for guys. He's playing within the offense. He finding guys, getting his assists. And then, when it comes down to crunch time, he's a guy that, he leads us. But he doesn't lead us in a selfish way. He still come down. He makes plays for himself. But if he don't have it, he's also looking to get other guys involved. And everybody on the bench, 1 through 15, or however many guys we got, there's no ego.
Yeah.
Just come in, we communicate, help each other, we support each other. And, that stuff goes a long way.
And Coach Dagnall talks about, the leader being the person that's doing the right thing. And it seems like you're getting that from pretty much everybody on this roster at some point.
Exactly.
Either in practice or in a game.
Exactly. It's just the way this team built. You got guys on this team that just play hard. Whether we win or lose, we going to play hard.
Yeah. Okay, so you mentioned Shai. I do want to ask you, just what has it been like for you as a big man playing with a guard like Shai, setting screens for him, and then just being out there with him on the floor?
I mean, he's a smooth player. He plays at his own speed. He's very unselfish. He's really good out of pick and roll, whether he can get something for himself or he can look for a big on the pick and pop or a pick and roll, or even just throw it out on the perimeter because he's like 6'6", so he can kind of see over the defense, and make plays for other guys. But no, just with him, man, he plays at his own speed. You can't rush him. You can't rattle him. He's one of those guys. He can just make plays, and like I said, he doesn't really have an ego either. He's out there having fun. He's out there getting other guys involved. He's out there just enjoying basketball.
Yeah, it seems like he's one of the guys that just, it doesn't matter what it is, practice or weightlifting. He's having fun.
Yeah, he's having fun. Yeah, exactly. And you need that sometimes because you can get so consumed with the business part of things, you forget man, this is still a sport. It's just basketball, and he's a guy that he brings it out of everybody. This is basketball.
Curious for you, we talked about Shai. How about the rookies? Obviously, Josh has been great. Right. He's been in the starting lineup for this group. Jeremiah in and out of that starting lineup, kind of rotating at that 5 spot with you as well. Trey, Aaron, what have you seen from them just through their eyes and how they're experiencing the NBA for the very first time this season?
Man, you know what? I said it last time, like just the composure that they have.
Yeah.
They have, with Josh, he's Australian, coming over. He's 19 years old, and he's starting on the NBA team, and his matchups every night is, pretty much an all-star caliber player. And he's coming out there playing with a poise and just a level of like just calmness that you don't really see in a lot of rookies in his position. And he's coming out there making plays, accepting the challenge on the defensive end and playing hard, him and J-Rob.
Yeah.
J-Rob come in, he's hitting shots. He's an undersized center, but he's starting to understand and figure out his ways of being able to score the ball and being able to affect the game without, scoring the ball all the time.
Yeah.
And even with Trey and all the other guys, they just have a certain composure and poise about them that they don't get rattled in the big moments.
You and Jeremiah, obviously, very different players and very different skill sets out there. But it seems like he's able to take, things from you on the floor. How have you been trying to, help him in that 5 spot and just as a rookie in this league?
Just try to give him little points and tips. I know because he's undersized, and you can kind of say I'm undersized too for a center. But just telling him, just use your strengths. Don't go out there and try to be a typical 5 man. Use your strengths. You're really good on the perimeter. You're a good shooter. You quick on your feet. Like you just make those guys work.
Yep.
You giving up some size on the defensive end, but you're able to switch 1 through 5. You're able to do a lot of things that a lot of other players can't do. So just kind of focus on your strengths. And I think that's what he's been doing. He's been shooting the ball well. He's been playing within the offense. On the defensive end, he's giving 100% out there. And he's just continuing to learn and continuing to get better.
Yeah, one guy who's also been doing pretty well over these past stretch of games is Darius. And I remember specifically after the first game of the season, I asked him what it was like because you were in the starting lineup for the first time. And I was like, what was it like playing with Derrick out there? And he was like, it's cool playing with Big Fave. And that was after the first game of the season. What has it been like for you building these relationships with these guys? And obviously you've been here for a short amount of time, but it seems like everybody's pretty comfortable around you.
Yeah, no, it's fun. It's fun, especially with him. Because, after the first game, I saw that he was kind of down on himself because I think that he felt like he didn't play up to his expectations. And I kind of challenged him a little bit, and he accepted that challenge. I told him, go out there, man, and just try to be, the best defender on the floor outside of Lou. Lou's a great defender.
Yeah.
But, with his size and his athletic ability, kind of accept those challenges because you're going to go against, the Giannis's and the Anthony Davis. You're going to be guarding those guys.
He's had those tough assignments for sure.
So those guys going to get their points because they're going to get the shots, but don't get down on yourself. Like try to focus on other ways to affect the game. Even if your shot's not falling, you still one of the players on this team that can affect the game without making a shot. So try to focus on those little things and the shots will start falling. And I think that's what he's been doing, and it's been working out for him.
He brings a lot of energy, it seems like, at every single game. That's one of the anchors kind of to his game. It's just the energy, running the floor, rebounding the ball.
Doing the little things that don't really get noticed. He's good for those.
It seems like the whole team really always has that competitive spirit, that competitive juice. And one thing Coach Dagnall mentioned one time was just, the youthful energy of the team. When he's talking about that, just from your perspective, what does that youthful energy look like? What does that feel like?
I mean, I'm still young myself.
Of course, I'm not saying nothing. Yeah, of course.
No, I mean, I think it's just the joy and when you're around like a young group like this, I mean, obviously, it's still a learning process. And there's going to be mistakes. There's going to be a lot of mistakes. There's going to be a lot of growing pains. There's going to be a lot of, games where we lose, games that we win, games where we make mistakes and kind of give up leads. And I know it's going to be a lot of stuff. It's a long season, but I think just with the young energy, I think sometimes they just forget about it.
Yeah.
The next day they come in, they back blasting music, they back, having fun doing, young guy stuff in the league. And it kind of like bring a joy out of everybody.
Yeah, it makes
almost like having that younger sibling.
Yeah, it makes it fun to come to work every day.
It does,
and the thing that always stands out is that 0-0 mentality.
Exactly.
Whatever happens, it happened. Take the lessons from it.
Yeah, You can learn from a win and learn from a loss. It's just how you look at it, just the perspective of it. And I think that's what a lot of guys do. We win games, we find out what we did to win and what we need to do to continue to get better. And even on losses, you can find a lot of lessons through your losses too.
Right.
So I think with this team, we just keep that mentality, coach does a good job of reminding us about that, and you know, we just come out there and play hard.
I love it. And clearly it is evident through every single game that you guys have played so far that the lessons they're soaking in. They're soaking in with every single game.
Exactly.
I want to talk more about you, and this is just out of, you know, me and Nick have talked about this as well. You know, 9 games with the Thunder. What has it been like transitioning into life in Oklahoma City? Obviously, you've been in the league for 12. This is your 12th season,
12th year,
but you haven't had to move around a ton necessarily. So what has this been like for you?
It's been different. It's been fun too at the same time. You know, just coming to a new environment, a new state, new team, new organization, and also come to a younger team.
Yeah.
You know, that's not really no, I don't want to be disrespectful, but doesn't have like high expectations as far as like trying to contend for a championship. So there's not that pressure. But no, it's been fun. You know, there's just another journey in my career, and I'm accepting it.
Yep.
You know, I like it. You know, I like being around the young guys. I like this organization, being in a new environment, and no, it's been great for me.
Is it helpful having a familiar face and Kenrich? I know you guys spend a little time together in New Orleans.
No, it definitely is.
Does that help?
Yeah, it definitely is. It's almost like going to a new school.
Yeah.
Where you're not really familiar with everybody, but you have that one person that, okay, he grew up in my neighborhood, or he went to this school. I know him from playing basketball here or doing this over there. So it kind of made the transition easy because you can kind of go to that person first and then kind of figure your way out after that. So it kind of make it like a little bit more comfortable. But no, overall, man, it's been great. It's been great.
I do want to ask about Kenrich just because you guys did spend a little time together in New Orleans. What was your perspective of him then? And then now with his time with the Thunder, he just passed 1,000 points a couple games ago. Just what have you seen from him from then to now?
I mean, as a person, I think he's the same person.
Yeah.
I mean, he's
Kenny Hustle.
Kenny Hustle. You know, he's a good guy. Gonna come in, work hard. Brings a lot of good energy. He's good with everybody in the locker room, and as a player, you know, I see the improvements. You know, when he was in New Orleans, he was kind of I think in that situation, he really didn't know his role as much. But here, he has a defined role. He's taking advantage of it. He's making shots. Like you say, they call him Kenny Hustle everywhere he go because he plays hard. And I always say with him, he's going to always find a way to get an offensive rebound. You know, if he's missing every shot or having a bad game, he's going to get some offensive rebounds. And I think that's where he makes his mark at in his league. And no, he's just a hard-working player. You know, he comes in every day, put his hard hat on, and go out there and battle every night.
Last thing for you, you guys are heading into your first City Edition night. You're going to wear the City Edition uniforms on Friday against Sacramento.
Right.
When you think back, you know, you talked about taking lessons from every game. What are kind of the biggest lessons from this past game against the Pelicans that you guys can look to apply in that game on Friday against Sacramento?
No, every team has their own way of playing, and I think with the Pelicans, they play they play inside with Valanciunas, and they also play like a fast-paced style. I think Sacramento kind of do the same. You know, they play a kind of a fast-paced style. So I think just learning from, you know, the New Orleans game, just getting back in transition defense, contesting shots, gain rebound, and make sure everybody get a body on everybody, get rebounds, play within the offense, and just really stick to the game plan. And also just learning, like, you know, if we get up, just understanding how to keep that lead, how to keep that momentum. And if we get down, you know, still have that edge, whether it's 20-30, we were shown that we could continue to play hard and come back from those come back for those being down 30 points or whatever. Just continue to learn, continue to get better, continue to understand that, you know, this is who we are. You know, we just got to play this same exact way for 48 minutes, always be next man up, because you never know. There's some guys on this team that don't expect to play, and they get thrown in there. So you got to be able to keep up that same momentum, that same energy, and just come out there. And I tell guys before every game, man, have fun.
Yeah.
You know, don't put pressure on yourself. Don't come out here trying to do too much or do something you can't do, man. Come out here, have fun, be relaxed, have fun. This is a learning year for everybody. Just have fun. You know, you make mistakes, make it. Just move on to the next play.
Yeah.
You know, so just try to help them out that way. And like I say, just have fun. This is the NBA's basketball. Enjoy it. Have fun.
This is true. This is true. Yeah. And Friday will certainly be a fun night because you guys will be wearing your City Edition uniforms. You'll have the alternate court for the first time. Should be a lot of fun to watch. And this podcast was also a lot of fun. Derrick, thank you so much for your time. We have a rule on this podcast. You're a guest the first time. from here on out, you're a friend of the pod. All right.
Appreciate
So
it.
welcome to the universe.
Appreciate it. All right.
Thanks so much for your
Thank
time.
you. Appreciate it.
Before we let you go, it's time for What's on Tap. We got to keep you up to date with everything that's going on. The biggest thing coming down the line for the Thunder is the very first City Night. That is Friday against the Sacramento Kings. This should be a lot of fun,
Suit up for the City. This is going to be every Friday night home game for the Thunder. OKC is going to be wearing their new City Edition jerseys for this year. You saw the white threads and the way that
super crisp.
Yeah, the way that the Thunder players all reacted to that. Brand new court as well that will be played on Friday nights. And we're going to dress up a little bit different, a little snazzy or something. And Thunder fans, when you come down to Paycom Center, you do the same. It's going to be kind of a little tradition here this year, and something that people are going to really lean into, I think. So that'll be a lot of fun.
Fresh, clean, icy. I love it. I love the theme. It should be a whole lot of fun. The players, we saw their reactions to seeing the City Edition uniforms for the very first time. It's always encouraging when you get Shai's stamp of approval on anything fashion related.
Yeah,
so
no doubt about it.
It's going to be, everything's going to look really good on Friday night. We're just a reminder, that's every Friday home game for the rest of the season. City Nights. Come suit up for the city. Come decked out.
Yeah,
get ready to have a lot of fun.
You can wear your sneakers with your fancy clothes too. I mean, there's all different combinations that you can come with. And I mean, I've been here since 2012. This city has evolved and changed so much. It is so fun to go out downtown. You can go out to dinner beforehand. You could go out afterwards. You can show out before you go out, as we like to say. and so just, come on down. Enjoy everything that downtown has to offer before or after you come to Paycom Center and enjoy the best entertainment in OKC, which is the Thunder basketball game.
That's right. And as a matter of fact, there are going to be 3 Thunder basketball games between now and the next time we talk to you on this podcast. That'll be on Tuesday. So until then, enjoy your weekend, and thank you so much for listening. Be sure to like, rate, and subscribe wherever you get your podcast. Be sure to catch us and watch us on YouTube as well. Thank you so much to our producer, Matt Bishop, and until next time, Thunder up and catch you later.